Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Liverpool 2, Arsenal 1 match reaction, our first loss of the preseason so far. I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on the game, the two players that stood out for me, a couple of players that didn't really stand out for me. But first, let's start with the lineup that began that particular game. We had Karl Hein in goal as expected. Kind of disappointed he never got to see Setford or Nigard for at least one half out of the 3 games that we played so far. Because next games that we're going to play now, Ramsdale and Roy are going to be back, so I don't expect these other goalkeepers to feature a lot. In the back four, we had Zinchenko, Gabriel, Kivio, and Ben White. So Kivio played next to Gabriel on the right side. We've seen him playing that particular position before. I think that season where Holding played a few games, then we dropped him, and then we brought in Kivio. And then Partey played in midfield in the number 6, and then Havertz started in midfield, and then Odegaard next to them. As always, Nelson on the right, Gabriel Jesus up front, and Martinelli on the left. So as you can see, there's a couple of players who are missing from that team before we go to the bench. You are missing Calafiori and Timber. Calafiori apparently is not ready to start a game yet. No problem. He'll be making his debut at the Emirates. He only really arrived on Monday, and then he only got announced like on Tuesday or something. So yeah, he hasn't really been there for a long time. He actually got announced on Monday, so that's like 2-3 days ago, not that long ago. So he wasn't ready to feature for the team yet. And Timber was rested for the team because he's played 2 games, and apparently he can't be, pushed too much because he's just recovering from an 8-9 month injury. So he can't be pushed that much. So he was rested today. So this was the lineup that began the game today. Stronger than what we had the last 2 games. Martinelli starting, and then Havertz is back as well. Gabriel is back as well starting. We had Jesus, and then Zinchenko, Ben White. Yeah, most of the first team players were starting. From that team, next season in the starting lineup, you'd expect Gabriel to be there. You'd expect Havertz to be there. Partey, Jesus, I'm not 100% sure. Ben White, Odegaard. So yeah, you can say 5-6 players on that picture will be starting our games next season. So quite strong. So I was hoping for, I actually looked at Liverpool's defense. Liverpool, for any Liverpool fan watching this, Harvey Elliott was really good for them. He gave us a hard time in that particular game. Elliott in that midfield, he was dominating that midfield, probably the man of the match, I think, in that game. And then on the right side, always a worry. Salah was starting for them, and obviously we know Salah up against Zinchenko. That is something that no one has to tell me. Even if I say Zinchenko stays at Arsenal or wherever, I know if I say Zinchenko starts at left back, I definitely don't mean up against Foden or Salah. I know he's going to struggle. Like, that is always a suicide mission. If you put up Zinchenko up against Salah, it's always difficult. But at the moment, we didn't really have anyone else to play there because we don't have Tomiyasu, we don't have Calafiori, we don't have Timber. So he basically had to play there unless it was him or Lewis Kelly, one of them. And he had a hard time in terms of the way they were opening us up. Like Elliott and Salah, they were cutting through us very easily through the right side, and also between Gabriel and Kivio. And in the midfield was a bit open, surprisingly. Now Havertz playing in midfield, for him as an individual, I know people are going to talk about Havertz playing in midfield this game. I don't have a problem with him playing in midfield during preseason. I'd prefer him up front. I'd prefer him in up front too if you're playing with the back 3. But in the midfield today, I think Havertz did okay for us. He scored the goal for us. We're going to go to according to how the game went. But Havertz scored defensively. I think he did very, very well. He came back, intercepted a couple of attacks from Liverpool, and he won us the ball a couple of times in our own box, tackles, and won us back the ball. I think midfield-wise, he did well. But Havertz prefers to attack, obviously, and Odegaard prefers to attack. So we kind of have just Partey in midfield throughout that first half. And they were cutting us open very easily, Elliott and Salah, through that midfield very, very easily. And one worry I usually have about Thomas Partey is one of the best midfielders. Is definitely a starter for us on his feet. The worry these days I have with Partey is the recovery pace. He doesn't have the recovery pace. So when a player goes past him, Partey is not going to cover back. He's going to be left behind so easily. I've noticed that over the last 2 seasons. Actually, we can start from 2-3 seasons ago when the time we lost to Tottenham, and then there's a time Son and Kane were counter-attacking, and one of them just passed Partey. And we can also go to 2 seasons ago when Rashford passed Partey at the Emirates, and then he went on to strike and score. In terms of recovery pace, Partey is losing the pace. Obviously, he's getting older. So I do understand that. But when you leave him by himself without like a Declan Rice in that midfield to help him with the recoveries, it becomes a problem because Havertz and Odegaard both are preferred to attack. So that was a problem. And we saw it. We had a chance in the opening first minutes. We started well. There's a couple of times Odegaard did very well as well in terms of creating chances. He got the assist for the goal, and then he created a couple of openings. I think 2-3 good chances created. So in terms of Odegaard doing his job, I think Odegaard did excellently. Martinelli got a couple of those passes from Odegaard. I still need Martinelli to be the Martinelli that he was 2 seasons ago. He gets himself into very good positions. So far in preseason, I've seen him more, more confident. But there's a couple of things that I need to return. He got like 2-3 openings in front of goal today, like on the left foot and stuff. And he was hesitating to shoot the ball. He wanted to cut to his right foot. He wanted, to take a bit of time with it. I want the little Martinelli who would get a chance and just shoot the ball. Just shoot the ball like he did against Sheffield United last season. Just get the ball and shoot it. Don't think too much. Don't overthink in the box. Just shoot the ball. So Odegaard was creating the chances, but Martinelli is taking a bit of time. There was one that he didn't shoot. He was trying to cut to his right foot. And then there's one that Odegaard created for him. And then he was trying to pass the ball to Jesus in the box. And then he never really got to Jesus for the tap in. Even that one, you can say, yes, I think that was kind of the right decision. But even that, if it is a confident Martinelli, he shoots that ball with his left foot. It can go and the keeper can save it. And then he can drop to Jesus eventually. And he can score from the rebound with a tap in. So I need that more confidence from Martinelli. But in terms of the way we are being opened up in terms of the goals, the through pass, Elliot, I think I gave I think it was Elliot. Yeah, very good through pass to Salah. And when Salah gets back to, gets a one-on-one, whether it's Salah with hair or Salah with no hair, it doesn't really matter. He will score it. It's a very good finish, one-on-one finish. Took his time. Gabriel could have fouled him, but no need for a red card in a friendly match. No need to, exhaust yourself with 10 men. 1-0, probably in a competitive game, Gabriel probably fouls him in that position if there is like 10 minutes to go. But in a friendly match, no need. Salah scores it 1-0. No problem. We considered fast against Man United. You can always come back in that particular game. After that, we created a couple of chances. Again, Odegaard, very instrumental in that midfield. I think Havertz was doing okay in the midfield as well in terms of getting in the box and all that. I don't think he was bad at all. And then, unfortunately, we conceded a second goal. Once again, another through ball right in between, I think it was Gabriel playing Carvalho onside. So the communication there between Kiwior, Gabriel, and Zinchenko wasn't that great. Now, that is not going to be a difference next season. Obviously, Saliba will be back, Calafia will be back, Timber will be back. You don't expect Zinchenko to be starting. Kiwior might not be here. So, yeah, we have our defenders coming back. We'll have Rice in that midfield. But it's a bit worrying the way we're being opened up in that midfield. Another through ball, another one-on-one, and Carvalho finishing it to make it 2-0. And then I still thought we were going to score goals because, we'd get opportunities with Odegaard and Martinelli and those guys up front. And we did. We had a corner, Odegaard crossed it, and then it got cleared. And then Zinchenko, in terms of attacking our goal today, Zinchenko was good in that goal because we got a corner and then Liverpool cleared it. And then it dropped Zinchenko in a position where he was like surrounded by 2-3 Liverpool players. But he didn't panic. He actually turned nicely and drove with the ball in front, and he helped us create that chance. We put in a cross, and then it dropped to Odegaard. Odegaard once again composure in the box, assist for Havertz to make it 2-1. And we're back in the game. So in terms of that first half defensively, we were not great. And that is one thing that, we pride of these days. Our defense, we are talking about breaking records defensively. Defensively today, we are integrated in the midfield. We are being opened up too easily. Partey, Zinchenko, Kiwior, Gabriel, we are being opened up too easily in those positions. Attacking-wise, Martinelli is the one that he made good runs, he got good openings, but he wasn't confident enough to take the shots. He did take a shot very, very early in the game in the first minute, went off target, but after that, he wasn't confident enough to shoot the ball. Odegaard was one that impressed me in the first half, the creating and all that. He was always very, very good. And I'd say Havertz was... In the first half, I'd say Havertz was like a 7 out of 10 in that first half. Odegaard was around a 7 out of 10. Who else stood out? Nelson didn't see him a lot today. Martinelli, as I said, Jesus didn't see him a lot. Maybe one opportunity or something. I mean, a couple of unlucky ones if Martinelli, if the cross from Martinelli reached him and stuff, could have gotten the goal. I think there's a time he was offside for he literally hit him, and I think it went in, and then it got disallowed. All that. So it wasn't that great. But the players who stood out for me were Odegaard and Havertz in that first half. Defensive work as well from Kai Havertz. Now, the second half was a bit indifferent. We made a lot of subs. First up, we brought Liverpool made a few of their subs as well. Jota went off, and those guys. We brought in Vieira for Martinelli, brought in Trossard for Nelson. Lewis Kelly came on. Nwaneri came on for Havertz and Zinchenko. Lewis Kelly was okay when he came on. Lewis Kelly actually did very well when he came on. I thought he was absolutely okay. But the last 30 minutes and stuff, we were putting in a few crosses, some of them dropping to Gabriel, dropping to Kiwior, a few missed chances here and there, but nothing too much to cover in that second half. there's a point where it never really looked like we were going to score, apart from there's a time where Vieira had a shot save with his right foot. Good effort. You want to see that, Vieira. If you have a shot on your right foot, just try it. So nothing really to talk about in that second half. So that is pretty much it for me. As I said, players who stood out, ODEGAARD. Players who are a bit worrying in terms of, I would be worried if Partey was playing by himself in midfield without Rice and anyone else to cover him. I'd be worried because the recovery pace, unless you're very sure you're going to dominate that game, it would be very dangerous to play like against a Nottingham Forest, against Elanga and Hudson-Odoi. You're going to use the pace to cut through your wings and your midfield, and Gibbs White as well. It would be dangerous to play against teams like that unless you have like a Declan Rice to help out Partey in midfield. Great. So Partey is one who is going to control your midfield, is going to get the ball, is going to drive, put those passes in between the lines. But if you leave him by himself exposed and a player goes past him, you're in trouble. And it happened a couple of times today. Didn't really look too fit. So I'm not going to throw it too much. I'm not going to talk about it too much. It's still preseason. You're going to hopefully by the time we get to the Emirates Cup, if we are more fit and stuff. So let's see how it goes. But that's how the game went. No one really disappointed me 100%. Not really. I know people are going to point on Zinchenko, but as I said, defensively, when they put him up against Salah, I don't expect anything else, really. But attacking-wise, he was okay. So if he stays, I think the solution is definitely to play Zinchenko in midfield. And I think we're maybe going to do that because Calafiori is there, Timber is there, Tomiyasu is there. I think that is the only solution if he stays. I don't think he's going to leave. But the game overall, 2-1 win for Liverpool. Elliott was great for them. Salah was okay for them. The youngsters kept us quiet in the second half. We only had 2-3 shots on target in that game. Not the best, but that's the end of the USA tour. Next up, Emirates Cup up against Leverkusen and up against Lyon as well. Not too fast about the results, by the way. It's not a big deal. Obviously, you'd want to win, but listen, preseason results don't really matter. You can lose to any team. I just watched Real Madrid losing to AC Milan. I just watched Man City losing to Celtic, to Barcelona. Man City have lost 3 times. Madrid have lost a couple of times. Liverpool have lost to Preston. Man United have lost to us, and they've lost to Rosenborg. Chelsea have lost to Celtic. Aston Villa have lost to Columbus Crew and all those guys. Every team has lost, so the result doesn't really matter. But from our own accord, we look at what went wrong, which positions we need to improve. We have a couple of players coming in still in the transfer window. We have Calafiori making his debut soon, Saliba coming back to this team, Raya coming back to this team, Saka coming back to this team, Declan Rice, Tomiyasu. Still a long way to go, but that's the way the game went. If you watched, let me know what you made of the game as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.